So my current expectation is that gold would form an intermediate cycle low maybe in late June or the first week or so of July. However, I'm looking at the dollar chart and I'm having a little trouble reconciling that, and here's why. For the most part, gold tends to move inversely to the dollar. There are times where geopolitical events can stretch gold, stretch a cycle out or push it up, even in the face of a dollar rally. But for the most part, gold just trades, like an opposing currency. So when the dollar's going up, gold tends to go down. So we've got kind of a double, more or less, a double bottom right here. And you can see that's exactly where gold topped. And then for the duration of this rally in the dollar until it reached its intermediate top, gold continued moving down. And this was a very stretched intermediate cycle. So at this point, I am not going to assume that we're going to get normal cycle lengths, because we are not getting normal cycles in the dollar. This, you can see, this intermediate cycle has lasted a year. It's lasted 13 months. Normally, a normal dollar cycle would usually only last 5 or 6 months. You would usually get 2 intermediate cycles in a year, and that timing seems to be broken. And I'm sure that this has been triggered by central bank interventions in the currency markets, global QE, all the nonsense that's gone on for the last 7 or 8 years. But anyway, so you can see from the point where gold put in this this double bottom to the top, or I'm sorry, the dollar put in this double bottom to the top, gold put in its intermediate top and declined. Once the dollar formed that top and started down, gold has been going up. So the inverse relationship has held. We're very, very late in this. Like I said, this is already stretched almost twice as long as a normal intermediate cycle. So we're very, very deep in this intermediate move. We should get a bottom here pretty soon. I thought maybe it had occurred last week, but after today's action, I'm not going to rule out that there could be one more drop before the final low. But we've already got some warning bells going off. The gold, despite the dollar making lower lows, gold is not making higher highs. So that's one warning sign. Here's another one. You can see that gold is continuing to move up, and even though it hasn't made a higher high, it's still, the daily cycle is still advancing, but the mining stocks are not following gold to higher highs. They are have been in decline for a couple of weeks now. So another red flag in the mining stocks. So this is what I'm a bit concerned about. Once the dollar does put in this intermediate cycle low, I think it's going to rally longer than 1 month. So, if we assume that the inverse relationship holds, and as soon as the dollar starts to rally, gold will start to move down into a correction, into a daily cycle low. That daily cycle low would be due to bottom, like I said, probably in June or July. But the problem I have is that I don't think a rally out of an intermediate cycle bottom in the dollar is likely to be done in only 1 month. I would think, even if the cycle is going to be left translated and we're starting a bear market like I suggested in my last video, that the dollar would still rally at least a couple months. So I think we need to be prepared that the gold cycle may stretch a lot longer than what I'm currently anticipating. So like right now, like I said, I'm anticipating a bottom in late June or early July. Well, if the dollar rallies into the beginning of August, gold may have 2 daily cycles down, and if we have a mindset that we've got to buy in late June or early July, it may turn out to be too soon. We might get a much longer cycle than what anyone is anticipating, simply because this dollar cycle has gotten stretched much longer than normal, and once it does form a bottom, like I said, I don't see the rally coming to an end in 1 month. I would think minimum at least 8 weeks, 2 months before the rally would top, and then the dollar would have a chance to roll over and start down again. So just something to be aware of. We're due soon here for a bottom. Once that bottom is in, I would expect gold to start moving back down as the dollar moves up. But I think we need to be careful about getting locked into the mindset that we're going to get a final bottom in late June or early July. We may have another complete daily cycle after that before the final intermediate bottom in gold forms.